It just got very real for the Florida Panthers. Matthew Tkachuk is set to return to a game any day now. How he can help this team moving forward, well, I'll get into that. And we saw other guys skating at the Winter Classic so far. We're going to talk about Bobrovsky's play as of late, how everyone starting to come back from injury will help this team make the playoffs and win their third consecutive Stanley Cup. Yeah, that's right. I'm saying it right now, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Panthers Digest. I'm Greg Andrews. Subscribe, hype up this video, help me reach 4,000 subscribers. So on this episode, well, it's my last of the three-part series of my interview with retired professional goaltender Nathan Grobins. We discuss Matthew Tkachuk's return, how it's not just going to help the team physically, but mentally as well. We discuss a couple of the other players who should return in the next 6 to 8 weeks, and how everyone getting back on the ice, being healthy as the months start to roll on, will have this Panthers team in the playoffs as a lock and will improve those chances to win their third consecutive Stanley Cup. We also talk a little bit about Bobrovsky's play and where there is a small bit of a hole in his performances as of late, guys. So I hope you enjoy this. Again, I'll have another episode out later today, possibly tomorrow, regarding the Winter Classic and so much more. Guys, thank you so much. And we'll talk a little bit about the Olympics too. So guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy this episode. Here we go. Before we get into the rest of the news about the Florida Panthers, this episode is brought to you by Kalshi. Kalshi is the United States' largest prediction market, and on their platform, you can trade by simply clicking yes or no on real-life events, sports, elections, pretty much anything you want. And the best part is they are live in all 50 states. And if you're a huge sports fan for any sport, trade on game outcomes, playoff chances, or playoff performances, all on a regulated market, and you can cash out when you want. I love the Florida Panthers' chances of winning the Atlantic Division. If I click yes today, my cash out could be huge when the regular season comes to an end. Same thing for the Stanley Cup Finals. If I click yes, they win their third consecutive title. Man, I'm going to cash out big. So this is a very smart way for you guys to use your sports and news knowledge, and you can close out your positions whenever you want. So download Kalshi in the link in the description below and use code DIGESTNHL to get $20 when you trade 100. What do you see the Panthers season going to in terms of leading up to the playoffs? Do you think there is a higher probability of them making it, especially with the players returning? Like I said, Kulikov, obviously Barkov, Tkachuk, Thomas Nosek, and I think it's Cole Schwindt is the other one, even though he was one of those later guys that we brought up from the AHL.
Yeah. Well, there's a pattern. Like every team each year goes into a slump. I could be wrong on that, but this is just one thing that I've noticed, where there's no team that I've seen, in the last few years or whatnot, that goes start to finish and here you go, great season. So when you slump, like when you go into that 4 or 5 game losing streak, it depends which time that you're doing. So the Panthers have been through that early in the season. So now they're coming out of it. And once those players return that are like Tkachuk, Barkov, the other guys that are regulars, once they're healthy, then the team morale is going to pick up, the excitement of them coming back. Now you got your full healthy team again. And I mentioned it before, is you're in the Stanley Cup Finals last 3 years, and then you just went back to back. So they know what they can do when the team's healthy. I doubt they're going to have a 3 or 4 game losing streak again once those guys come back. And they're on their they have everything going for them. Like you mentioned, they were tied for worst in the conference, or sorry, in the division. Now they're second. Okay, once those healthy players come back, now it's going to be even better for them. So they got the ball rolling now. You got all the momentum. Once these healthy players come back, that momentum's just it's going to be like fun to watch and just about unstoppable.
I keep saying, I'm like, when Matthew Tkachuk comes back, just that one piece alone is going to be a morale booster. And I always say this, hockey is not just the physical sport that it is. It's the mental part of it.
Yeah.
That's why when you bring in, you've got Bennett, Marchand, Tkachuk. Those three guys right there get in the heads of the other team so much. The one thing I've noticed, and I know this is not one of the questions I gave you, but one of the things, I'm sure you're well aware of this with all the injuries, there hasn't been a lot of scrapping like after a play is whistled dead and the goaltender covers up the puck. It has been few, far, and in between this season. Do you think we're going to see more of that physicality once Tkachuk comes back? Because I heard on his podcast, he's itching for it, man.
Yeah.
He's itching for it. So what do you think? Do you think we're going to start seeing that Panthers of old? I mean, we're starting to see the play, the physical, the defense leading to offense. Do you think that psychological warfare is really like, as soon as he hits the ice, it's going to be bang, go?
I agree with that. Once he comes back, he's chippy, those little cheap shots and stuff. It gets
face
under,
wash.
Gets under their skin. And, I mentioned this years ago before the Panthers were, went into the playoffs, into the finals for the last years. I think Luongo was still on the team at the time. And I was like, you know what? If they played more physical, I think they'd go a little bit further in the playoffs and all that stuff. And then they get Tkachuk, and then they get Bennett and all that. And these last 4 years has been the most physical that I've seen them, since 1996 that I can remember.
Oh yeah.
But that's the thing, is you just got to stay physical, and it's not, cheap shots or whatever. It's just
the game.
We're allowed to check.
Yeah.
There's so many times in the playoffs, and it's all teams that do it. It's just I guess the way the game is now, where the player has the puck. They'll do a stick check, like just a little sweep check, or if they just get rid of it, they turn away from the check, and they're like a couple of inches away from each other's shoulders. And I'm like, he just got rid of the puck. Like, just give him a bump.
Finish
Let him
the
know
check.
that every time they touch the puck, you're going to get hit. And that plays a psychological factor too, because throughout the game or throughout the series, every single time when you touch a puck, you're getting hit. It's going to be like pretty soon you're just turning around and throwing the puck away. And that's, coaching from Mike Krushelnyski's 4-time Stanley Cup with Edmonton and 2 with Detroit. When I played for him in the Central League, he mentioned it. He's like, just bump them, let them know you're there. And pretty soon when that happened, you got to see some of the guys that would turn around, just throw the puck away and nobody's around them. So with Tkachuk coming back, he's going to add a little bit of that, I don't want to say cheapness, but
it's the physical flair.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. Because I mean, people, you already know this. Tampa Bay fans cried foul with the cheap shot Hagel did on Barkov that knocked him out for a couple games. Then Ekblad, which they're saying, oh, he elbowed him. I'm like, no, he gave him a little forearm shiver here and pushed him. I'm like, this is an elbow. This is a push. Yeah. Yes, he did get suspended because they were like, it's kind of an eye for an eye. The NHL had to do it, and they're saying, oh, when he pumped Stolarz, Bennett's a dirty player because he cheap shotted him and gave him a concussion. I'm like, he got hit in the mask right here with an 85-mile-an-hour slap shot. That's what concussed him first, not the little nudge from Bennett that knocked him over. I'm sure he was kind of seeing stars and a little dizzy. But guys in the NHL, they're tough as nails. They're not going to say, I took a puck to the head, I'm out. They come back with 80 stitches in their face, and they're like, hey, man, I'm back. Let's go. That's the thing I tell people. It's not dirty play. This is a physical sport. Yeah. I hate to say it, it's barbaric. It is. That is the nature of the game. Deal with it. Don't complain. Don't cry. The referees are going to call what they call. They're not going to call what they're not going to call. It goes either way. So, and just to show you a thing about the physicality you said, and the reason why they've been winning and been to 3 straight Stanley Cup Finals and won 2 in a row. When you said who was it? Jonathan Huberdeau was on the team before he got traded to Calgary, and we picked up Tkachuk. Yeah. When we won the President's Cup, we only had, I think it was about 600 or 700 penalty minutes. Do you know how many had the first year with Tkachuk, the team, as a team?
No.
It went up to over 900. Do you know what it did the following year and his second year? It was over 1,000 penalty minutes.
Oh,
That
wow.
just shows you the physical style of play
Yeah.
that changed. And if you look at past Stanley Cup champions, most of them were in the upper echelon of penalty minutes and the physical style of play. And I keep
Yeah.
saying that is what builds championship hockey teams. One of the listeners, our viewers, I should say, commented and said, with so many different games and so many different looks from so many different players, you know, the different lineups that they're going to throw at you, formations, tactics, all of that stuff heading into a game. How does a goaltender prepare night in and night out for the changes that they're going to see situationally from game to game? Because I like you said, it just changes so frequently. It's so fickle.
As a goalie, it doesn't matter if you're going up against McDavid's line in Edmonton on the road. You lost 4 in a row. It's a whole new game. You can't carry one game to another. You lose, okay, so what? Here's another game. Now you win. You have 50 shots. You get a shutout. Hey, enjoy the evening, all that stuff, because the next game you got to go right back at it. And I tell all my goalies that I work with, like, oh, you had a good weekend or a bad weekend, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're on the ice right now for practice. Stop one puck at a time. If the 10-year-old goalie, if he lets a couple in a row, okay, just reset yourself. Even if you make a save or the puck goes in, whether it's practice, game, street hockey, whatever you're doing, as a goalie, you're going to get another shot. You can make 10 saves in a row, you're getting another shot. You can let 3 in a row. Well, if you don't get pulled, you're getting another shot. Like,
Yeah.
You're always having pucks thrown at you. So just get that puck, execute. Okay. One quote that I would love to throw out there was training with Vladislav Tretiak, and it is in his pictures, books, all that stuff. His quote is, "You can never fail if you think execution instead of results." So don't worry about the outcome of the game. Just focus, execute one puck at a time. When the final buzzer goes, then, oh, okay, we won or we lost. But think of executing and don't worry about what the results are.
That's a great quote, man. I got to tell you, that's a winner. I'm going to put that in my quote book because you're 100% right. Because it's like I just said, I don't think, and I was just throwing up the stats a little while ago for Tarasov and Bobrovsky, and I said, I think the stats lie. Because performance does not overrule your execution on the ice. If you win the game, that's the goal, no pun intended. What do you think is Bob's biggest flaw right now? Because one of the things I've noticed, and I'm sure the people watching could probably attest to this, if you watch the games, you really pay attention, a lot of the goals that are going past him, especially odd man rushes or the breakaways, do you know where they're going? 5-hole.
Yeah.
A lot. And I'm like, that's just so uncharacteristic of Bob, because usually he shuts the door, closes the pads quick. But I've seen he's been a little bit off with that. We saw it in the shootout last night too.
Yeah. I noticed, I've seen it on the internet too, where I have some goalie page with NHL goalies, and they do different warm-ups of different goalies. So like Bob will sit there and, do his routine. So I notice he'll put one knee down, he'll turn, put the other knee down. And I'm like, okay, like it's his routine. And I understand where it'd play a factor. But now when you said 5-hole, it's like, okay, well, as you're doing all that one leg down, that's also getting into your muscle memory. So now when they shoot 5-hole, I would have to check that 5-hole goal out. Did he put the one leg down or did he put both down?
So you're saying he might have a little bit of, let's say, like maybe one leg's getting down, but the other's not quite matching. It's not like boom, shutting the gate. It's like kind of like one of these things like that. Yeah.
And also too, when they get closer to, as you're backing in, you have to be going with a wider stance, not too wide. Like your release points, the first release points at the top of the crease when the puck hits the hash marks. So as you're backing in to the middle of the crease, if he hasn't shot by then, 9 times out of 10, he's deacon, but that'll be your second release point. But either way, when you're at the top of the crease, if you back in a little bit, once your feet are in the crease, now you can widen your stance because that's going to take you further into the crease, meaning that guy's really close. So you're down like a tiger ready to pounce. That's eliminating most of the top shelf.
Mm-hmm.
But what I saw, from what I remember yesterday, it looked like his feet were a little bit too narrow. So as he went down, he had to pull his feet apart to get his legs down. I hope that makes sense, where just widen your stance as you're going back, because now your feet are away from your shoulders. So if they do shoot, your knees are closer to the ice, and all you have to do is just
drop down.
Time up shot. Yeah.
Because I was going to even say, it's you're kind of relying on the fact that you don't want your skates to stick. You want them to be able to slide. So the wider stance allows you to be able to slide your legs and drop faster than if you're in that narrow position. Because I could see, again, just geometry. If you're here, it's a more stable base, and then trying to push your feet apart, you're going to be scratching at the ice, and it's even that quarter-second delay is enough for the puck to go through.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's super interesting.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like you mentioned with the skates narrow, you want to be on the balls of your feet. So the skates, like, it should be just outside your shoulders, like just a little bit. And now you can rock back and forth, just like shortstop in baseball or tennis player ready to receive the ball. They're rocking back and forth. So now with a goalie, that's good for your crease movement. But as they get in closer, you're going to have to go a little bit wider, because now that you're wider, you're more on the inside edges. So the more inside edge, now you can explode over and slide whichever direction you're going.
Well, that's it for this episode of Panthers Digest. I hope you guys enjoyed this third installment of my interview with Nathan Grobins. I want to thank him so much for taking the time for that interview, and thank you guys for being patient while I was getting this thing all worked out with the audio and video issues that I did have during the recording. So I will be back probably later today, most likely tomorrow, talking about the Olympic lineup for the United States, Canada, Finland, so much more, what that means for the Florida Panthers in terms of, do we have to really worry about these players going overseas and playing in the Olympics? Because there's a lot of guys that are going to be heading out there. And one guy who got snubbed from the Olympic roster, I'll tell you how he feels, what the coaches were saying about why he was left off of it. We'll get into that a little bit later today, possibly tomorrow. And there's so much more. I've got other news to break to you guys about other players coming off of IR and their possible return. Will it be sooner? Or is it going to take a little extra time compared to what the doctors have been telling us? So guys, thank you again so much, and go Cats.